Let me into my zone. Let me into my zone. Please don't let me into my zone. 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 Please don't let me.
Well. Hello everyone and welcome back to the
Hyvää
Magical Crowns Christmas Cave. Hyvää joulua!
Merry Christmas, everyone, and happy holidays to all the people who don't celebrate Christmas out there, and happy Wednesday to everyone who doesn't give a fuck about anything. Well, you know what? Today's a little bit of a sombering day, as I do want to start out with an unfortunate piece of news, as that is I have received word from a nice message on Telegram that the same people who just went after Ivan on text channel and shut that one down are now going after mine. And they've gone after several other people as well. I believe Sunny Decree has been targeted. That Martini guy has been targeted. I don't know if Data Dash has been targeted, but I think, pretty much all the major channels. I think the Moon, Carl the Moon was probably targeted as well, and several others. So I've actually made all of my videos here private, and I'll probably make this one private after today as well. But basically, this person messaged me on Telegram, username Astaroth, and he let me know that he's responsible for it. There's actually more to this message later on, where he basically reveals that he's also been stealing my my copyrighted content, my paid content, of course. So I wanted to leave that out because it did reveal a little bit of sensitive details, which I don't know if it's a huge deal or not. I'll probably end up showing the rest of the message anyways. But I did want to kind of put this out over here. I'm not really sure what to do about it. I've reached out to YouTube. I've been told that they're not that helpful, unfortunately. And several of the other channels who I've been speaking with have already done the same thing with no results, unfortunately. So I think the best thing right now is awareness. So if you could find it in your heart on this nice little Christmas day, if you are listening, please do retweet this tweet. I'm not sure what else to do about it, but I suppose that awareness is the biggest thing. And no, I'm not interested in joining like BitChute or Library or whatever other decentralized platform. I don't think it really matters. I actually think that this group is probably from one of those platforms and is trying to sway people into joining those platforms by taking advantage of YouTube's reporting mechanism. So if you're not aware, on YouTube, if your video gets reported enough times, it will get flagged by YouTube, and they'll automatically give you a community strike. The reason why they do that is to cover their own asses, and I can completely understand that. By YouTube's ways, I'd do the same thing. Just take no chances. As soon as like a certain threshold is kind of met, just take the video. Just provide a strike on the video and kind of take it down. So, they're taking advantage of that. I don't know. I don't know what the results will be after like YouTube reviews it. I'd imagine that they probably come to their senses, as this is just kind of an abuse of their system. But I did want to throw that out there as I make sure that I'm recording and my microphone's working. Okay, great. So yeah, a little bit of somber news on this nice little Wednesday or Christmas or Hanukkah or whatever holiday it is, whatever holiday it is for you. I'm gonna get in the actual content now. I don't know how long I'll leave this video up though, because well, I guess I'm getting targeted now too. Anyways. Before we get into it, I do want to say that my programs are on sale for 20% off. No code is needed. That will be going on through the end of the year. Again, this person actually, threatening to steal my content. So if you actually do want to pay for it, that would be much appreciated. But I always want to say that for most people, this isn't even really reasonable to begin with, as these programs are incredibly long. They're also financially intensive as well. So these are really designed for people who want to take this in a more serious manner. And with that said, I will let you be the decider of that if that is relevant to you or not. But definitely check out the videos here that kind of explain the programs. This guy right here and this guy right here. They've actually both been updated in the last couple months. So if you have any questions, those should answer it about the actual content. Of course, the programs also get you access into the private Discord community and access to a couple of proprietary indicators. We're also going to be bringing back the Jewel relatively soon as well. But I'm not sure how I'll get word out about that if I have to make all of my all the videos on my channel private in the meantime. So again, these programs very, very long, so make sure that you do have the actual time to invest in them. And for most people, if you're not really interested in doing this in a more in a more like lifestyle-ish manner, I suppose is the right term, they're probably not applicable to you. So definitely take advantage of the free content first. Make sure that it's even in your like what you want to do, I suppose, and then go from there. And of course, I'm here to answer questions if you so desire. Okay, cool. All right, great. So now that we got all that of the way. Shill. Let's talk about some goddamn Magic Internet money. Jesus Christ, man. Anyways, this is one of the times, as you'll as you've probably seen over the last 2 days, where a healthy amount of I don't fucking know is actually the right answer to this market. Now, for myself, I want to directly explain this. I do not trade over the holidays. The reason why I do not trade over the holidays is the same reason why the traditional market does not trade over the holidays, because most people are not in their battle stations, and you're more likely to get either very boring price action or some garbage, or just, untradable garbage. My edge is diminished as a technical analyst during this time, essentially. So looking at Bitcoin right here, you can see that we do have a pretty obvious range. I believe it's most obvious on the 2-day, and again, I want to go into this whole discussion by saying, first and foremost, I don't have a strong opinion on price action right here. I can present both sides, and I do still stick with what I said yesterday, that I do think that Bitcoin probably tests the upside of the range before further downside. But how much more upside do we have to go? I mean, right now I don't have a strong opinion on that. I think 7,800 to 7,700 is kind of is within reason. We've kind of already tested that. To be fair, we did get 7,700 a couple days ago, and if that area does get taken out to the upside, I would look for a move into the mid 8,000s, essentially like 8,300 to 8,500. But realistically, the 2-day shows the range incredibly well. So my opinion needs to take a backseat. And as always, my opinion is fucking worthless. You don't want my opinion. I don't even want my fucking opinion. I don't trade my opinion, to be more clear. What I do trade is technical analysis, and this is what I can show right here. As long as we are closing 2-day dildos above this white trended simple on the 2-day, which is pretty much right at $7,000 even, I can't be too bearish, like looking for a continuation of trend here. And by the same token, as long as Bitcoin is closing 2-day dildos below the yellow 20-minute exponential average right here, which is currently curling down below 75.50-ish region, I can't be too damn bullish. So what I can say about this is that technically, yes, on a 2-day chart, which I do think kind of gets rid of a lot of the noise, especially during the holiday times or just the times where not too much is going on. I do think that this is quite tight here. And let's actually get some tools on. Let me actually take these guys off. We'll deal with the fresh chart. Gotta fucking love that. And what do we have going on right here? Well, basically we do have an ascending triangle on the lows, which is typically a bearish continuation pattern, right? And while I do think that Bitcoin is, why is it shaking both those right now? While I do think that this is overall bearish, the macro is bearish here. The short and medium term, does Bitcoin have some more upside? If I had to pester a gander, I'd probably say yes, it does test the upside again, but that's neither here nor there, man. I don't have a fucking position. I don't care to have a position today. I'll put it quite bluntly. Until we break this range one way or the other, I'm not really interested in trading Bitcoin, actually, except for like very, very short-term scalps here and there, as Bitcoin's been very generous with the way that kind of plays off those. Now, if we go a little bit deeply into it, again, with the first assumption that, hey, the only things that really matter here, if you're looking at the macro, or not even the macro trend is very much bearish as long as you're below this last prior high at about 9,600 on a weekly closing basis, which does dictate the macro actually 100% perfectly for the history of Bitcoin to date, the last 10 years essentially. This shorter term price action right here is not going to be resolved till we break this range. Again, that's what I can stand by. This next part, I can stand by it as well, but I'm not trading it, to be clear. We do have hidden bearish divergence potentially in play here. We are making higher high on the RSI, just barely out of the bearish control zone right there. While price action has confirmed, it is not confirmed. However, we are damn close to confirming another lower high right here on a 2-day total closing basis. And this, I believe, is also mediated by the daily as well. Yes, it is. We are still in the downtrend on the daily. So with that said, I do think that the 2 days just a little bit better, gets rid of a little bit more of the noise. And in this situation, I do think that it is actually kind of likely that in the short and medium term, we probably do come back down to $7,000 and test it. But I can't get too damn bearish down around there until we actually fully and formally close a 2-day total below there, and preferably open and close below there, or daily close below there. One of those scenarios would be good enough for me. Now I do know that I said earlier in this video that I do think that we probably test the upside of the range again. Well, that could still be, that could come, after testing the downside first and then popping back up and maybe testing the 21 on the 2-day. But overall, as we wedge ourselves more and more directly into this region, it is very important to remember that we actually do have not just a formation going on right here, but volume signature is confirming as well. We do see that nice tailing off of volume going from left to right, and we do see that it is actually representing the structure very, very well. So I do believe that this is the right call here, but this also would imply a resolution. It would imply a resolution not really until perhaps like end of January, middle to end of January, somewhere right around here. We probably do get resolution on this. So I do think that things are going to be more or less boring in crypto land for the next couple of weeks, most likely. And then perhaps like around middle of January, which is actually only about 2 to 3 weeks away now, we probably do get some more movements once again. So as it stands right now, if we do take out last 2-day low, which is 71.56 on Stamp, and I think we got down to 71.99 spot 48 on Stamp last night. Yes, indeed we did. Then we will actually confirm this as another lower high. Hidden bearish divergence is present, and very, very likely that we at the very least test. What is this area right here? Anywhere between about 7,000 to 69. What is this area right here? 6,900. So $100 range down there on the lows. Very, very likely that we do test it. Now, do we actually break it? I think that if we were to test it, like in this next half week to a week, probably don't break it on the next pass. But anytime that we're on the down, anytime that we're on the low side of the range, I mean, it's always danger city, right? So, again, divorcing my opinion away from the analysis, if we do either get a daily dildo close below, let's call it 6,900, a 2-day dildo open and close below 7,000, or a 2-day dildo not open and close, but just close below 6,900, that would probably all be good enough to get that further continuation to the downside. And in this situation right here, where we do have a nice formation in play, we can make a measure move based upon this, if this does come to the downside. Now, we'll talk about the upside in just a little bit, because I do still think that it's possible for Bitcoin to break above there. But of course, the areas of the triggering areas for these plays, are pretty damn set, basically above the 21 on the 2-day or below the 200 simple on a 2-day as well. Now, the measured move for the target to the downside would be putting us right around 61 to 6,200, which does match up with long-term historical support. I'm going to right around here. From this little starter step, you do see a nice little liquid zone being formed between the upper 5,000s and the lower 6,000s. So I do like that area if we do break down from this region. But again, I'm not really looking for a breakdown just yet. And I want to kind of now talk about the greater trajectory of this right now. Let me actually fit it in like that. And fit it in like this. And these are the two trend lines to rule them all for the last, like what, 4 months, 5 months since. What is this? This is June. Yeah, since June. So what? Oh, 6 months actually. Sorry, it's been even longer than that. Now, you can imagine that if we do break down in, as this formation would suggest, in something like middle of January perhaps, that would be somewhere right around here, and would actually be right on in line with this ascending trend line. So here's the thing. Falling channels, in the way that this is a falling channel, are typically do break out to the upside, but there's no time component of that, meaning that we can stay in a falling channel for years at a time. I've certainly seen it even longer than that in traditional equities, but they typically do break out to the upside. So we could test the downside of this, quite a few times and be walked down, all the way into the low 6,000s, mid 5,000s, even as far as 4,000s. That I'd say is still very much within the realm of possibility. But it's going to take a long time is what I'm suggesting here. Now, of course, by the same tone, not like Vase, but by the same tone, if we do close a 2-day dildo above the 21 exponential moving average right here, which would essentially create a higher high on a 2-day and also a daily above this 75.50-ish pivot, then I do believe we will very, very likely march our way up to, well, extremely likely to 7,800 right here, the same target that we had kind of governing the meeting of this range, about 78 to 78.50-ish region, right around here, basically around the 200 exponential average. But more likely, actually, not more likely, but I still think like very much within the realm of possibility to the meeting of the range, which would be at around 8,300 to 8,500, where we do see some higher time frame moving averages coming in around from the longer term trend. That would be most notably the daily 200 exponential moving average right here. And I'm actually going to put in a blue box territory. So again, I'm very much neutral right now. I don't care to have any open positions, and until we break this range, I certainly will not be making any trending trades. Even though in the short term, does it look down? Does it look up? I don't even give a fuck. I don't give a fuck right now, man. This is not the time to be trading. I don't think. I'm not here to tell you what to do or to be your dad or tell you what's right or wrong. Just sharing what I'm doing in these situations. I mean, in traditional markets, most people don't even come in during this week, so CMEs are going to be more or less unhelpful, and I just feel like we probably don't get like a real we probably don't get to see the real market at least until the new year, more feasibly. Okay, so while we are here, I do want you to note a few things. Now, the daily and all higher time frames are still very much bearish, right? On the macro, on the micro and medium terms, yeah, we could rally up into the mid 8,000s, still not destroy anything. But remember, we don't even get an uptrend on a weekly until we get back above this prior high right here, about 9,500, 9600-ish region. Close a weekly above there, I can be bullish as fuck, and that'll be great. But the problem with that is that the 200 simple, this white moving average right here on the daily, which is quite powerful, is actually looming below that past prior high. And not only that, we do have a full-on bearish splayed effect of major moving averages here. We see all lower periods below higher periods, and we do see all major moving averages downward sloping. In fact, the similar kind of market that we've had before in what was this, like March, May 2018 was right on over here, where we got the death cross right here between the green and the purple. We get all lower periods moving below higher periods right here, with the cyan moving last below the 200 exponential moving average right here, and then the white 200 simple gets a negative slope along with all major moving averages. Bitcoin, as long as he is below the 21 exponential moving average, is trending to the downside bearish. And I would say it would actually be even nah, I think that next point I was going to say is not verifiable. But what we can say over here is that we have a very, very similar mark going on. Death cross right here, green and purple. We see cyan and 200 right here crossing down, all lower periods below higher periods at that point. All major moving averages are downward sloping for the most part, except for the 10 simple right now, but that's one more close below yesterday's low, where that changes, of course. And we got the 200 simple looming overhead. So what does this say? It does say that, first and foremost, we are actually losing momentum to the downside here. So I don't know how much, I don't know if Bitcoin has the momentum to actually break to new lows from this region without, carrying out another try to the upside. In fact, that's kind of my main disposition right now, even though I don't really care to be trading this asset at this current moment in time. But what I can say is that, as long as we're below the 21 exponential moving average, it is danger city essentially. And yesterday, we did actually break it once again. So as long as we're below there, I should be more on the bearish side, to be fair. But this holiday price action is just not that fun. It just makes analysis a lot more difficult. You can probably hear it in my voice. I'm not really married to either side right now. I think the macro is pretty much set. The short and medium term timeframes are a fucking headache, is what they are. So shout out to anyone who's trading this market right now, and double shout out to anyone who's making a shit ton of money right now trading this market. You have a fortitude which I do not, which I just do not right now. I don't have the fucking patience to trade this market right now. Anyways, okay, cool. Let's go check out momentum oscillators. We do see daily Stokes actually getting tired once again. Now, they are popping up around the bullish control zone, and they are not crossing down just yet, but they are getting tired. Has the 12-hour crossed down that yet, though? Yes, they have, and the 12-hour has been good enough to get pretty much all of the major moves in Bitcoin year to date, essentially. And I'm actually going to take a sip of this water because I'm really, really thirsty right now. So just one moment, my friends. So making a corollary between these two, after that nice water ASMR, between the 12-hour and the 20 and the daily, essentially, I do think that we're going to see the daily fall through. The 12-hour has been good enough to get pretty much all the major, $1,000 plus moves in the past year. And once again, it's angled down. So I suppose now, if I did have to come up with a bias, I would have to say very, very short term, yes, back down to probably 7,000, maybe even 6,900. Do we actually break that area? Do we have the momentum to break that area? I don't have an opinion on that. I only have an opinion on if we actually close a 2-day dildo below 6,900 or a daily below 6,900. Well, they're both going to happen at the same time, essentially. Or if we get an open and close on a 2-day below 7,000. Any one of those three things would likely be good enough for me to, at the very least, target a move back down to the prior low of about 6,500-ish region. But for right now, I think that we probably come back down to this region, find our footing, maybe 6,900, and then get another try the upside. And from there, probably see some more downside displeasures. Now, 12-hour RSI is turning more bearish as well. We've lost the exponential. We've been rejected from the bullish control zone. And we will have... Nope, sorry, we do not have hidden bearish divergence in play. But we do have it on the 2 days, which is going to hold a lot more weight. And that's probably good enough to put us back down to 60... What is this, like 68 or 69? What is it? That beautiful... It's 68.50, actually. Prior low on the open. So yes, what about the daily? We do have the same sort of hidden bearish divergence present on a daily, I believe. Yeah, we came just shy of making a higher high over this early December high now, didn't we? And RSI, again, making a much higher high over the past prior hump. So I would say that it is present there as well. And putting all of these pieces of the equation together, I would say that Bitcoin's overall more bearish than bullish. Very, very short term, I'd be looking down. Medium term, probably bounces from the area that we just spoke about. And then longer term, wherever the bounce gets to, whether it's like 73, whether it's 75, maybe 84, 8,500, I don't fucking know. We'll get to it, if and when it does happen. That would be where I look for the trend to resume longer term. Very low time frames. We haven't even looked at the 4 hour just yet. Looking weak here. We have been held below the 200 simple moving average on the last few closes. But I'm not really getting too much off this. Momentum oscillators are very much beat up on the lower time frames. Here's your 4 hour, here's your 3 hour. It's actually curling up right now. 2 hours doing the same sort of thing, and hourly as well. So we're seeing bifurcation in these guys. I think that we probably have enough momentum to maybe get another stab lower, and then after that, lower time frames probably do reset. So that does kind of help flesh out the bias here. That's Bitcoin very, very short term down, medium term bounce. How impressive is the bounce? Who fucking knows? And then from there, I would be wherever the bounce tops out at, whether it's low 7,000s, whether it's upper 7,000s, whether it's mid 8,000s. One of those regions is where I'd be looking for continuation to the downside on the macro. I don't think that the displeasures to the downside are over just yet. And of course, the higher time frame that we go, the worse that Bitcoin looks. So Bitcoin, short term is obviously decided by the lower time frame oscillators, which have been pretty damn good at getting the bounces. The higher time frames have been a lot better at dictating the trend. So here's the monthly, of course, and we are going to be closing a monthly in less than a week. It's going to be 2020, man. The decade is over, actually. It's pretty crazy. And I would say that if we do close the monthly anywhere below the yellow 21 exponential moving average that you see right here, which is currently at 7,100, I would be very bearish on the macro. Again, doesn't mean it's going to immediately shoot down, but I do think that longer term the trajectory is set, and very, very likely we will test into the mid to low 5,000s. Somewhere around the 55 exponential moving average right here would make sense. And just looking at this from the history of Bitcoin, we do see that the yellow 21 exponential moving average has been really, really good at getting Bitcoin's overall, market direction. Whenever we're above it, generally bullish. Whenever we're below it, generally bearish. And this is how I've used it in traditional markets as well. On equities, which had more history to judge if they were generally bullish or generally bearish. And well, I think Bitcoin's just about old enough where it starts to matter for this asset as well. And if we do close below the yellow 20 exponential moving average, like I said, very, very likely target down around here, mid to low 5,000s, and even the Cyan 89 exponential moving average, which is going to be working its way up around that $4,000 number in the months to come, is also on the menu as well. So I would pay attention. I would heed. What the fuck? I don't even know what the fuck I'm saying at this point. I've had too much coffee this morning. This Finnish coffee, by the way, is really, really strong. And I had like one of the best Christmas dinners last night ever. It was fucking amazing. It was really phenomenal, actually. Anyways, looking at this right here, we do see monthly soaks crossing down, rejecting the bullish control zone. Bad. We do see monthly RSI rejecting the bullish control zone, losing the exponential. Bad. More bad. And the Jewel, don't really have too much to say about this on a monthly, but I do have something to say about it on a weekly. So the higher time frame is still not looking all that good. Weekly is still very much in a downtrend as well. But here's why I do think that a move up into the upper 7,000s or even mid 8,000s is very much possible. Bitcoin's found its footing on this Cyan 89 exponential moving average on the weekly right here. And after last week's close, I don't know if it can actually break this, this week. I think that we're probably going to, go through a little bit of a period of an ebb and a flow, which does mark out our low and medium time frame trajectory a lot better. But again, we don't need to play this. We don't need to play 3D chess with this, months in advance to make money. Just need to kind of have those triggering points up and be reactive to them, or responsive to them is perhaps a better terminology. But we do see weekly Joule is in a more bearish posturing. Now, it did give you a sell signal over here mid-July, gave you a continuation sell signal right here early November, and from that last sell signal, we've actually already have seen a $2,000 dump from about 9,000 down, well, actually more than that, $2,500 dump from 9,000 down to 65. So did that last signal already play out? I think that you could make that assessment. I think that it would be reasonable to say that is, that's already played out. But still, overall, it would be showing more bearish momentum on the whole. Looking at weekly RSI, very bearish here as well. In fact, we do potentially, we will be working on hidden bearish evidence on weekly RSI as well. If we do fail to close, if especially if we close below the 89, which is 7270-ish region on BLX, but let's see what it is on Stamp. It is 72.61. Okay, so about the same. If we do close below there on Stamp, then yes, I would say that very, very likely we do play that out, and we'll go back down to the middle of the 6,000s and probably continue a trend from there, actually. And just weekly RSI is overall bearish to begin with. I mean, getting rejected by the exponential right here and coming back down into the bearish control zone, it looks to me like usually when you see signatures like this, it wants to get comfortable in the in that control zone, and well, doesn't look all that pretty right now, my friends. Anyways, looking at CMEs, what are they doing right now? They should be closed for the holiday. Yesterday was a half day. Today is a holiday. And look at this, another rejection of the 21. In fact, CMEs showing the way. And you know what? The CMEs chart is still I think it's still the cleanest, clearest chart. We got no closes over the 21, contrary to what we saw on spot price action. And ever since we have had the death cross right here, it's been a straight continuation of trend. And we do see the same thing over here. In fact, this has already been confirmed as a local high and also a lower high, which does confirm this as hidden bearish divergence down here. And I would be looking for this to come back down to 6850, 6900-ish region is what it looks like. So I do think, I do think that CMEs are getting this more or less, are probably the cleaner chart, probably the better chart to be looking at right now. And well, it's hard to be bullish off of this sort of price action right here. We do see momentum oscillators have kind of reset, although, well, no, they haven't reset. They're actually bullish right there. Let's see what the 12-hour looks like. 12 hours coming down. Okay, so daily hasn't been as good as the 12-hour, to be fair. So I do think that still the 12-hour is the one to watch. And if I had to call it from here, I suppose I'd be looking for more downside. In the short term, medium term, not so confident on. Longer term, still. Here the dog parade comes. Anyways, we do see that historical volatility percentile on the higher time frames for CMEs is pretty much crushed here and set to expand. So the next move really could actually cause the flood, so to speak. But with CMEs closed for today's trading session and not opening up, I believe, until tomorrow at 5 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, I wouldn't expect to see a breakdown just yet, actually. Or if we did, well, I don't think that we get all that far. Anyways, okay, what else do we want to look at? Do we want to look at GBTC really quick? Sure, why not? Let's look at this piece of fucking garbage. Nope, just kidding. This highly technologically advanced stock, or that trades OTC for whatever reason. It's conspiracy. No. What's going on over here? It's basically the same chart as CMEs, so I do look at this in the same way. It is more bearish. Just got a rejection from the 21 once again. Death cross running over here, and overall quite nasty. And the same sort of hidden bearish divergence present. Or no, sorry, hidden bearish divergence actually not present on GBTC. So fair enough. But I put the least amount of importance on GBTC. In comparison to the other assets, but we do see, more importantly, historical volatility percentile very, very much crushed here. So this thing is really set to actually have another pretty major momentous move. So fair enough. I'm saying that this next major move outside of the range probably comes middle of January. I can very easily be wrong on that. It could come. Well, I mean, the middle of January is really not that far away. It's like 2 weeks away, So maybe, maybe in the next couple of weeks. What else do we want to look at? Let's go look at. Here they come again. Let's go look at Bitcoin dominance really quick. What is Bitcoin dominance doing? And how long has this video been? Already 30 minutes. Jesus. Alrighty. Let me just make sure that this is good. Bitcoin dominance. Load. Well, while we wait for that to load, let's go look at expected moves with regards to historical volatility. And we do see a nice range printed between $7,000 low, the bottom side of our range, and 74.50. Not really helpful to the top side of the range on the first deviation. Of course, outside of that, and less than a 5% chance to actually happen, would be above 76.50 and below 6,800. So breaking down today, very, 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 very unlikely from a statistics standpoint. Now remember, the next critical breakout point for the next downside move, I would say would be, well, on a daily, really somewhere in this region right here, which would be around a little bit less than a 5% chance, right? As it is between the first and second standard deviation to one side. To the upside, we'd have to get back above 75.50 and close the daily above there, and that would be about the same, the same percentage chance. So we're right in the middle of this. I don't. That's not the time where I really have like a strong edge on trading. So that's what it's kind of telling me. Anyways, going over here to Bitcoin dominance, it actually has finally loaded now. Still would be massively bullish on this. Looks to me like over the next couple weeks, months, however fucking long it takes, I don't know. I would be looking for a move up to 71.5% and even even higher than that over time to the past prior high and beyond. This is very, very bullish chart right here. I'd imagine that most alts are going to be getting boo-caked very soon. Looking at Cardano versus Bitcoin here, we already got the pullback, and so far it's being rejected already. We do have bullish divergence on it, to be fair. So I'm really not sure actually how much more this one has like this week, but higher time frames are still very much bearish. Looking at Cardano on a weekly right here, I mean, we just confirmed another lower high on a weekly, so it is still downtrending on the macro. Very, very bad. What about Link? Link looks like it wants to Link looks like it's losing its footing as well. I'd be looking for it to probably come back down over time to 21,000 satoshis. But longer term, it's still in an uptrend, contrary to most of the altcoins versus Bitcoin. So there certainly are outliers in this market. But let's go check out Mr. Buterin. What's he doing? Oh, continuation of the downside. Who would have fucking thought? What about Litecoin? Continuation of the downside. Oh my God, Charlie Lee, tell me it ain't true. Stellar actually bouncing a little bit. Wow, really good bounce on Stellar actually. I'd actually be looking for this one to probably bounce a little bit more to the upside. It's a nice move. Anyways, Monero, Bitcoin, same thing, just another rejection down here. On the whole, alts are bearish over the long term. Short, medium term, do they play a little bit of a bounce? I don't have a strong opinion on it. The longer term, though, I am quite bearish on them, as I have been and will continue to be as long as we see a Bitcoin dominance like that. Looks strong as fuck, man. This is Ripple, same sort of thing. So let's go look at the altcoins versus dollar. See Mr. Buterin right here, down in continuation. So leads me to believe that Bitcoin's a little bit more bearish than it is bullish, as this market typically does move together. What about Mrs. Litecoin? Or actually, I'd be looking for it to come back down to the prior low of 121.5. Short, medium term, longer term, it's still bearish. I don't know how much it's going to follow whatever Bitcoin does. Is the general answer. That's the answer for all these altcoins, really. If you've been listening to these videos for like the last year, you already know. You already fucking know. Litecoin, same thing. Another just lower high right here, confirmed. We have hidden bearish divergence as well. I'd be looking for it to probably come back down to 37.5. Have to be bearish here. Stellar, 4.5 cents. Another lower high right here. Hidden bearish divergence is present. No, actually, hidden bearish divergence is not present, but the downtrend resumes. Probably looking for it to come back down in line with the rest of the market to the past prior lows. What about Monero Bitcoin at 48.84? Same thing. Another lower high right here. Crazy shit. Hidden bearish divergence on this one is present, and I would be looking for a move back down to like 44.5. Ripple Me Nipples below 19 cents once again. Another lower high right here. What could be coming next? Nobody fucking knows except for Bear Jesus. He and his red dollars are ready to fook. 18 cents probably once again. Again, everything's going to kind of mirror whatever Bitcoin does, and I would be saying that Bitcoin short term is likely to come down. Medium term, I don't know if it has the actual momentum to break that next critical range, but I do think that it happens over long term, to be fair. Looking at EOS, same thing, another lower high rate. Although, actually, sorry, it's not confirmed a lower high just yet. Still kind of fighting it off, but I would imagine that if the rest of the market wants to come down, this one will follow suit. Same thing with NEO. What about Tron? another massively lower high right here. Bcash, same thing, another lower high right here. Probably coming back down to the prior low. Zcash doesn't even Zcash doesn't even know what a fucking higher high is anymore. It's been so long. It's been more than 2 years. Anyways, back onto Bitcoin. Let's wrap this bitch up. I do think that while the lower time frames probably do come back down, I don't have a strong opinion on those. I'm not trading right now. Full disclosure. Just trying to make sure that my YouTube channel doesn't get taken away. That would suck, man. I put a lot of work into this YouTube channel. Like this is really like a passion project for me because, well, it's been fun. It's been fucking fun, man. So it really suck if someone actually did get this channel taken down. I'm sure we will figure out some sort of a solution. For now, I do have my Twitch channel and also my Mixer channel. I'll throw in a link to those in the description below. So definitely check them out. I forgot to talk about Jackie's mentoring group during this video as well. I put up the video a couple days ago, so if you're interested in that, definitely go check it out as well. But to wrap up, God, I haven't even wrapped up Bitcoin. Lower time frames, again, probably do come down. I think 6,900 to 7,000, a likely target, especially as long as we take out yesterday's low, which was 7,155 on MEX. If you want to be a little bit more aggressive with that, no, sorry, this would not be more aggressive. Stamp is about the same thing, 71.56 actually. So any sort of move below, not even a close below, but just a move below, and yes, I would be looking for a move at the very least 7,000 and probably even 6,900 after that. But then again, you know, do we have enough momentum to break down further from that region? I would say probably not, based off the lower time frames. I do think that we probably bounce somewhere within that region and then play out another upside attempt, and that upside attempt will kind of take it as as it goes. I'd imagine that the lower time frames are going to get it about right, and then we continue a downtrend longer term. The only way that I really change around my mind right now is if we actually take out the 21 exponential moving average on a 2-day total closure or a daily closing above 75.50. If one of those two things happens, I would immediately target a move towards 7,800, 7,900-ish region, so another $300, $400 move, which is very much tradable in this market. And I'd want to reassess after that, but there would be also a chance of, of continuation into the mid 8,000s between 83 and 8,500. But even that would still be within the grips of this long-term downturn right here. And of course, longer term, I do not switch around to macro bullish until we've created an uptrend on a weekly, which I'm not going to be the first person to tell you that there is, that we're no longer bearish and we're actually bullish now. I'm probably going to be one of the last people to tell you. Well, maybe, I don't know, but again, this is the way that I trade, and this is how I've gone. This is how I knew to sell Bitcoin at 16,000 right here, how I knew to buy Bitcoin at 4,000 right here, and how I knew to sell Bitcoin at 10.3 right here, all because of the weekly trend changing. So I'm not gonna be the first person to know, but those are the glory moves. So it does help me kind of stay within them as well. By the same token. And again, that doesn't change till we get back above about 9,500 right here, of which that is literally a higher price point than the 200 simple on the daily, and also the weekly has even the 21 exponential moving average way below, about $1,000 below that price point as well. So the longer term does not look all that taut right now, but the shorter term is going to be an ebb and a flow, depending upon how we react at the bottom side of this range is going to dictate that next sort of a move. So again, I ain't trading during the holiday season. I am happy to kind of lay back and just enjoy. I would strongly, I'm not here to, this is not financial advice, I'm not a financial advisor, I'm not here to tell you what to do, but I would suggest that this is not the most opportune time to be trading. But then again, shout out to all the people who've been making a shit ton of money recently, so fair enough. By the way, the longer that the 2-day stays below 77.50, the more and more likely we actually get a death cross on this, which is going to be pretty fucking nasty as well. Anyways, I think that's going to do it for now. I'm going to go looking more into this YouTube stuff. Great timing for a very Merry Christmas, of course. But hey, man, wishing you well, as always, no matter what holiday it is for you, no matter what day it is for you. Like I said, Jackie's stuff is up, and my stuff is on sale as well for the rest of the year. I was going to say month, but it is also the end of the year, so why not say that? And I will be on Discord as well. So if you need to contact, just hit me up there, I suppose. Please do understand that I'm in the forest of Finland. I'm deep in like the middle of nowhere in Finland, and while I love it here, unfortunately my internet connection is not as good, and I'm not as responsive. And I also want to spend time with my girlfriend and her family as well. So I will be back at my battle station later this week on Friday, Saturday. So if not anytime soon, I will be more responsive around then. So anyways, take care, and until next time, my friends.